channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a 24-hour reading challenge. This will be take 2 since I tried to do it earlier this month in my second video that I published in June. So this time we're doing it again, but we're going to make it more of a bookish weekend, and the same rules are going to apply. I'm going to set a timer on my phone for 24 hours and just have it recording when I'm reading. And as soon as I'm not reading, I'll go ahead and pause the timer and kind of go about my day, do other things that I would like to do in my everyday life. So this time, we're actually doing it over the course of 4 days instead of just kind of 2.5. It's June 19th. So I'm off work for today. I took PTO for tomorrow, so I can give myself a bit of an extended weekend to relax and recharge, since I feel like I've been doing a lot lately. And so during this little extended weekend, I figured this would be a really good opportunity to just make it like an ultimate bookish weekend. I actually have my book club's bonus meetup is later today. So I'm going to be heading down to Tacoma, a little bit south of me, to hang out with one of my friends for the day. We're going to do a little bit of book shopping, hopefully going to sell some of our books at Half Price Books. We'll see how the whole day kind of shakes out. So to start off our 24 hours, I actually got a little bit of a head start this morning. I really wanted to read this morning, but I told myself I was going to, do the video. So I decided to go ahead and just read a little bit of Rebel Witch. I'm doing immersive reading while reading this. So I do have the audiobook going. I read for about 3 hours this morning, and I'm already on page 230. So got quite a bit of reading done in this book, a pretty good chunk. This is the sequel to Heartless Hunter that I read earlier this year. And if you remember, that was a 5-star read. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was amazing. So far, the sequel is not disappointing. The sequel is really, really great. We've had a my wife moment. We've had some fake dating moments. So we are really, really getting it going. We are following Rune and Gideon after the events of Heartless Hunter. And that book is basically a witch trying to seduce a witch hunter to figure out what he knows about the witches that he's hunting. And he decides to fake date her in order to see if she is the person, liberating all these witches that he's captured. All right, and then so far this month, I've only read 2 books on my TBR. I spent the bulk of the month reading 2 books that weren't on my TBR, so now I kind of have to course correct a little bit and try to get a lot done this weekend. So the next book I'm hoping to pick up is Pole Position, also on the TBR. This one is an F1 romance. And then the next book I'm hoping to pick up is going to be Can't Spell Treason Without T. This one is a fantasy, basically following, I believe she's an ex-guard who wants to open up a tea shop. So there's that one as well. And then fingers crossed we'll have time in this 24-hour reading vlog to squeeze in The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Also very excited to get this book in, but not super sure if we'll have time for it. I mean, so far pacing wise, the fact that I've been so deep into Rebel Witch and we're only 3 hours in, I think pacing wise it's all going to work out. I'm also planning to immersive read 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So that will also probably help our timing. I'll probably knock this out in like 4 or 5 hours. Whereas a book like this, where I'm not doing any immersive reading and I'm just reading regularly, this is probably going to take me like 8+ hours, I'd imagine. I'm not going to get my hopes up to finish too many books. I'll be super excited if I just finish these 4. And I do still have Shield of Sparrows chilling out on deck in case I do finish all of these books. I will start this one even if I don't finish it in the 24 hours. But like I said, we're starting this on Thursday, and I'll be doing reading today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, and hoping to get, like I said, at least these 4 books read, maybe get my toes into a 5th. We shall see. But I know my kiddos are super excited to have me home for most of the weekend, since I'll be home reading on Saturday and Sunday. That doesn't really happen. I'm usually kind of go all the time. So I think they'll be super excited to have me home for a good chunk of the weekend. I think today is really the main day I'm doing something. Tomorrow I do have dinner plans with some friends. We're going to celebrate Summer Solstice. So I'll get a couple of clips of my adventure in Tacoma, my bookish weekend, and then also celebrating Summer Solstice. We have plans to get all dressed up and look cute. So I will go ahead and throw those in, as they occur, and update you reading wise as more plot develops. But like I said, so far Rebel Witch is going really, really well, and I'm having a really good time with it. So I will see you guys in the next clip. Bye. Hi! Yesterday was Thursday. We finished Rebel Witch in basically a day. I ended up giving it 4.75 stars. I was really enjoying it yesterday morning when I was reading it, and I think I made it up to like 200 pages in like one sitting. So that was super good, and I ended up finishing it. The only thing that I did not love about this is our main female character, Rune, kind of goes through a journey in like the middle of the book that I kind of thought that she would go through at the beginning of the book. Like the way that Heartless Hunter ended, I was like, oh, that's kind of traumatizing. Like you should be going through some stuff. And she like was not going through anything at all. Like she was fine at the beginning of this book. And then like halfway through something happens and that's what like gets her going. And I was over here like, girl, like I get it. It was still, like a character development moment. She became very similar to a character that she loved and cared for in the first book, but she didn't like their actions. And she was doing these same actions as that character, but like couldn't see it. And it was just not aligning with the way that she had been all of the first book and the first half of this book. Like she completely switched up her like motivations, her feelings, her thoughts on certain things. And so I was just kind of like, that's not what Rune would do. Rune would not be doing that. So that was the only reason why I didn't rate it a little bit higher, but also 4.75 stars, like that's still a high rating. That's still really great. And I'm still recommending this duology, but I also was kind of incorrect. I was told this is a YA duology. She's not YA. She's not YA at all. Like we were doing stuff. So that was interesting. Wasn't expecting that. I mean, like it still was, kind of like PG'd. Like you knew what was happening, but you weren't getting explicit details. But like the first book was basically fade to black. So I was expecting this one to also be fade to black. But we were getting more than just fade to black. So I was like, whoa, interesting. But still really enjoyed it. Like I said, 4.75 stars. So it is about 4. It's 4 p.m. on Friday right now. I have 17 hours left on my timer. So we've only read for 7 hours. And it's like basically 2 days in. But a win is a win. I'll take what I can get having finished one book and having started my second. Start at pole position. This one is F1 Romance, where Kian is kind of the golden boy of F1, and he has to be on the same team as Harper James, who's a rookie. So he's kind of cocky, hot-headed, and just like, new to like the pro F1 circle, I guess, is how they describe it. So basically, Kian is a little bit like grumpy, jaded a little bit because his dad was also a famous F1 driver, but like not a good guy. So Harper comes in and is like comparing him to his dad, telling him like, oh wow, like I was such a big fan of your dad, like your dad's so great, your dad's so cool. And Kian's like, actually my dad was shit, but like you can't just tell someone that their childhood idol is a piece of shit. So instead of doing that, he just kind of avoids Harper and they just don't talk. So that's been fun. That's been interesting. I'm 42 pages in, so not super far in, but I've only been reading for like, I think an hour and a half or so. I'm pretty sure this book took me 5.5 hours of our 7 hours. So this one's only been going for like an hour and a half. I'm not doing immersive reading with this one, so it's going to go slower. I don't know how long it's actually going to take me to finish this in full. We shall see, but I'm hoping to get a little bit more reading in. I obviously didn't read at book club because why would I be reading at book club? And I'm going to my friend's dinner for Summer Solstice tonight, so I'm also not going to be reading then. But hopefully I'll read when I get home, and hopefully I get home at an okay time, because last night I got home at 10, and I was tired because I'm a senior citizen apparently. But that's my little recap of so far. Like I said, we're basically like 7 hours in. So not great, but also not terrible. I already knew that I would do most of my reading on Saturday. Like that's the day that I like legitimately am not doing a single thing. Tomorrow's definitely going to be the day that I think I'll be finishing this book and picking up our next one, hoping to get in a good amount of reading tomorrow. But I'll let you know if I read any more of this later today. I won't be bringing it to my friend's dinner just because like that sounds kind of rude. But I'll probably pick it up when I get home. So that's probably when I'll get the most of my reading in, but wanted to give you guys a bit of an update, and I will pop in and give you guys another update when there's something to be updated. I'll catch you later. Bye. little recap. So yesterday we had read for, I believe, another hour. And then I went to dinner to celebrate summer solstice with some of my friends. So that clip's probably in there. But I got home at about 11 o'clock last night and ended up picking up my book for a little bit longer. And I read to page 105. And I'm pretty sure I only have 15 hours left on my 24-hour like timer. So slowly but surely making progress. Like I said, I knew today and tomorrow would be the days I read the most. So I'm not too surprised to not be halfway there yet, but to be pretty dang close. I'm pretty sure I can read for more than 8 hours a day if given the opportunity. So I'm not worried about getting 15 hours throughout the next 2 days. I do want to run to the farmer's market later this morning. It's not super nice weather out right now, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, it's June. Usually this is dry season for us in Washington, but I guess the weather didn't get the memo because the weather kind of sucks. It was literally cloudy like all day yesterday during summer solstice. So we shall see how the weather cooperates, because I also wanted to read outside this weekend. I was like, oh, that'll be so fun. I was thinking about like popping into a local coffee shop. It's like within walking distance of my apartment, so it wouldn't have been crazy for me to walk over there. But like, I don't even know if I'm going to want to do that with how garbage the weather is right now. So yeah, we will attempt the farmer's market. Me and Bixby usually go. The one south of us is pretty big and super busy, but I don't know if we want to go to the one a little bit north. That one might be fun. We haven't gone in a while. It's smaller, so that would be really nice. So might pop over, go to the farmer's market, get some flowers, get maybe like a coffee or a sweet treat. We shall see. But yeah, that is kind of the game plan for today. Like I said, I'm 100 pages into this book. I believe it's like 350, so I'm like a third of the way in. So far, it's really just kind of a rivalry thing between the two main characters. We've had our first race in the book, and what is his name? Kian, the golden boy, kind of more senior of the two. He won the race, and Harper, our up and coming rookie, took third. And Harper did not handle that super great. They ended up having a little bit of a tiff, a little bit of a fight. But they tried to handle it, like behind the scenes. They're trying to do what their manager wants and, like work out together, hang out in their downtime, connect about something. So that's going very interesting. I will admit it's not taking the usual path I would kind of expect. I mean, like, I'm glad that it's not insta love, because that probably would have made me not like it as much. But it's really interesting that we're like 100 pages in and like they're still like really not like even remotely bantering or enjoying each other's company. Like, they really just don't like each other. So that's kind of funny. We had a moment where I thought Kian was going to admit that he has like an issue with his dad and being compared to his dad, but we didn't actually get there. Like, Kian just kept all of it in. So we're in his point of view, so we get that perspective and we know what's happening, but he doesn't actually tell Harper any of that. So that was very interesting, where I was like, oh, we're going to get somewhere. And then it was like, no, we're actually not. We're getting nowhere. Just more rivalry, more resentment, a little more bitterness, which I'm hoping is going to pay off. Like, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. But I want more banter. I want the other one, like, I want them to admit that they're like attracted to each other at least, like something. Because, like, Harper literally has just made a comment about Kian working out in like shorts. And I'm like, that's all we're going to get right now? 100 pages in? You're not even going to like admit he's cute? Yeah, I don't know. So far, we're not really getting too much flirty things and more just disliking each other, but it's working for me. I'm enjoying it. I do like that it is like a rivalry. Like, I do think that is really fun, because usually when I read F1, they're straight, so they're not in a rivalry with, the girl they're with, because I guess men and women do separate racing in F1. I've never read a book where it's a guy and a girl and they're both in F1. I don't know how that works. Again, I love F1 romances, but I don't actually know the sport, so who knows. But yes, so that is my update for now with pole position. So hopefully I will get some clips of the farmer's market, of us, getting flowers, doing some cute stuff, and we'll see I guess, like how much I get done today. I'm hoping to finish pole position today. I think I can read 260 pages in a day. I don't think that's too crazy for me. Um, so yeah, hoping to knock it out today and then start Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo either later tonight or tomorrow morning, depending. I think that audiobook at the speed I usually listen to audiobooks when I do immersive reading, I do 2.5. So I'm pretty sure at that speed, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo will be like 5 hours. And that'll take a good chunk of tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes, but I will update you guys when I have updates. Okay, bye. Okay, so it's officially like a week later. We wrapped up the 24-hour reading challenge, I believe at like 1 or 2 a.m. On like Monday morning. We barely squeezed in our 24 hours in the weekend. I had a full 4-day weekend and barely read for 24 hours. I wanted to hop on and do a quick recap of everything that we read in that 24-hour video. So the first book that we picked up was Rebel Witch. I ended up giving this one a 4.75 stars. Really liked it. It's the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. I just think the first book was a little bit better. I feel like the first book was absolute perfection. It was pining, it was yearning, it was angst. This one got a little bit predictable, and I did not love the journey that our FMC went on. She kind of started reflecting on like the trauma that's been happening to her like halfway through the book. I was like, girl, are you not traumatized from the first book when this book started? No, homegirl waited till like the 250 page mark to like even think about all the trauma that she endured in the first book. So did not really love that. I also was under the assumption that this was a YA duology since the first book was YA. And I'm pretty sure my local Barnes shelves this in the YA section, but this one was definitely not YA. So that was interesting. That was a fun turn of events. But yes, this was the first book that we read, 4.75 stars. And then after doing this one, I was in the mood for romance. So I went with Pole Position. I didn't immersive read this one. I think that's where I went wrong. I immersive read Rebel Witch and the other two that I did in the 24-hour reading challenge. This one I did not, and it took me way longer to finish than I was expecting. This one is a gay F1 romance. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I actually really liked the like enemies to lovers in this one. I don't usually love calling something enemies to lovers if it's like a contemporary, but like in this one they truly are like in a competition with each other since they're both F1 racers on the same team. So even though they want their teammate to do well, like they're always fighting each other for that first spot. The main reason why I gave it 4 stars is because I was not super obsessed with the way the relationship played out. I feel like the very beginning of the relationship was a lot of telling us that they were doing things, but not actually showing us. Like, they spend the bulk of the book being rivals. There's a lot of, like, I don't like this guy doesn't like me, like, we're not getting along. And then it seemed like all of a sudden they were getting along. And then we were told that they're basically like sharing a hotel room on the road. They're kind of like, like exploring their relationship. And it doesn't actually like show us them hanging out or doing anything. It just like tells us that they get closer and like start to, like see where the other one's coming from. There was a couple of times where I thought that the like golden boy Kian was going to tell Harper like why he has beef with him, because it goes like deeper than just like, oh, we're rivals. Harper is kind of like a new up and coming like rookie, and he's really really reckless, and he like parties all the time. He's always in the tabloids, and Kian like is like very straight laced. He likes to play by the rules, and he has a reason why he doesn't like the F1 racers who are wild, who are party animals, who kind of give the sport a bad name. He has like a valid reason to not like those kinds of F1 racers. And I thought he was going to tell him, but like he never really does. Like he figures it out at some point, but like we don't get that on page. And if it doesn't happen on page, it doesn't happen in my brain. So that was the main gripe that I had with this one, was just that it was good. I liked the enemies to lovers in it. The actual like romance building to the climax, I would say that there was like a solid like 60 pages in there where they were just telling us that the relationship was really good instead of just like showing us scenes of them being together. And then I thought that the third act conflict was actually really good and like worthwhile and like a good way to bring a conflict into it without making them, like hard break up. I mean, they weren't really like in a relationship at that point, and they weren't claiming each other as like boyfriends. So it wasn't really like a breakup. But I still really enjoyed it. I still had a good time with this one, but 4 stars. And then the next book that we picked up for the 24-hour reading challenge was Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I gave this one a 5 stars. I honestly was not expecting to like this as much as I did. So we're following Monique, who is a journalist, and she has been tasked with interviewing this like old Hollywood star named Evelyn Hugo. Her magazine is getting an exclusive scoop on all these dresses. She's donating them to a charity auction, and she is supposed to be telling Monique like all about, like what is going on with the charity that she is working with to raise money for breast cancer research, I believe. And in the process, Monique is actually interviewing Evelyn Hugo for a memoir. Evelyn Hugo wants her to write her memoir and like tell the story of her life once she's like passed away. So I thought that was a super interesting premise. I really liked how it was told, since like we're getting obviously like Monique talking to Evelyn now. So she would like interject and be like, wait, what are you talking about? Like that was crazy. But like the majority of it is Evelyn's life through the years and kind of like how she ended up being married so many times, which I thought was super interesting. I thought was done really well. I will be reading more Taylor Jenkins Reid whenever I'm in the mood for this kind of lit fic, but I'm not typically a literary fiction girly. I feel like most of the time it's so like character driven. This one felt equal parts character driven and like plot driven. Like I feel like, yeah, Evelyn like made stuff happen. Like she was moving the plot, she's progressing things, but like I feel like things also were happening. And then the last book that I picked up in the 24-hour reading challenge was Shield of Sparrows. I only ended up getting to page like 160. Yeah, 162 in the 24 hours. I finished it after the fact, but I did end up really enjoying this one. I also did this one as immersive reading, so I finished it really quickly since this was my one over 500 pages. But I'll get more into this one during our monthly wrap up. These are the books we ended up reading for our 24-hour reading challenge. I feel like this bookish weekend ended up being a super great way to not only get a lot of books done, but also like other bookish hobbies. Like I sold some books at half price books. I hung out with my book club friends. Like it ended up being a really good, productive weekend. So super excited about that. Super happy with it. And this will be the end of the video. If you've made it this far, go ahead and comment like the clock emoji. I don't know. Is that a good emoji to use? That's the first one that came to mind. So that's the emoji we're going with. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to enjoy my video. Like I said, leave the clock emoji down below if you've made it to the end. And I will see you guys in the next one really soon. Bye. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Say hello. I'm like holding you like a freaking hostage. Okay. Okay. Oh, you scared me. You're very fast. Hi. Hello. It is Juneteenth. It's June 29th. No, June 19th. What day is today? Right, gorgeous? We like it. You say hi to the camera? No, you're a little shy today. Look up there. See? Do you see that pretty kitty? You're so pretty. Okay. Ready? 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 Okay, we're going to do the video now. We are... Girl, I don't even remember. What did we do in the last clip? Okay. I'll just recap everything that's happened since the last time I talked to the camera instead of trying to figure out where my clips were. I just realized I'm not wearing my watch. That feels weird. That feels illegal. I'm going to go put my watch on. Back to story time. You see? Okay, look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look here. Look right there. Say hi. No. Oop. What are you doing, silly boy? You goofy goober. But we're brave. We're really brave guy. We're such a brave boy. Are you crying? Oh, I know, honey. Okay. Okay. Hey, that felt weird. I hated that. I guess we're sticking to hi, hello, welcome. I guess that's our thing now. Um, that's not even the start of the video. I have to finish the very end. A quick, my head itches. Words are hard. That felt kind of nice. So we're following, what's the main girl's name? Monique. That's it. This exclusive scoop, an exclusive sloop. No, that's not how words work. Evelyn is donating to like a charity auction. Sorry, my dog's crying. Like it wasn't just like the literary fiction you read in high school where it's like, had to kill my dog because my dog had rabies or whatever the hell happens in Old Yeller, and like the whole like 99% before that is just like them hanging out on the farm. And then the last book that I shouldn't have done that. And then the last okay, so here are the books we ended up reading. Let me go this way. Yeah, that's cuter. Okay, so here are the books we ended up reading for our 20 hour. What is 20 hours? Thank you so much for taking some time to spend some words. Words are hard.